I'll tell you what, I ate the entire contents of Stretch Armstrong's body. Good morning. At least it's morning for me. It's 5 a.m. Sunday, the day before I usually post my videos. This is the only time I could find to film this week. So if you're wondering why I look like I just woke up, that's why. Today I want to talk about one of the cool things that I get to do as an artist, and I don't want to waste a lot of time with a lengthy intro, so let's just jump right into it. I love doing portraits of people, whether it be the crappy, unflattering ones, the vaporwave-esque things that I do, or creating creature people portraits. Whichever ones I do, they always turn out to be a fun time, but there's one ongoing project that has been interesting and I have taken great joy in. A handful of years ago, a client reached out, wanting me to do a creature people portrait of their kid. They wanted me to include the stuff that they were into at the time, which at that point, little dude was like a toddler, so it was a blanket and a lovey doll. But whenever I finished the portrait, they said that they wanted to do one of these every year for as long as possible, which I thought was a cool idea. I didn't hold out much hope though, because a year is a long time and people's interests and tastes change fairly rapidly. But I was not let down, because every year since I have gotten a commission request from this client, and it has been a really cool way of watching somebody grow. This year's no different. I got a commission request and permission to put the process up on my YouTube channel. So that's what you're seeing here. Years have gone by, so we've graduated from a blankie and lovey doll to two stuffed monsters, which there's kind of a funny story. There's two because last year, I actually painted one of these monsters in his portrait last year, but they lost that guy and then bought a new one, and then after they bought the new one, they, naturally found the first one. So these little monsters here, those are his buddies that he runs around home with. On top of that, he's into Legos and Minecraft now, so I've included one of the creepers from Minecraft, and I didn't want to go straight for the, a diamond sword. I was kind of caught between, I wanted to make a Lego sword, and then I was like, I'm going to try to do the diamond sword, and then I just kind of ended up with a hybrid of both of those things. So anyway, that's what's going on with this portrait commission here. I love doing creature people portraits, but I especially like doing creature people portraits of the entire family. That's my favorite project, doing, they cost more because they've got to be bigger, so I don't get them that often, but when I do, they are a blast, and the family always loves it whenever they get them. I think there was only one time, they weren't even creature people, it was Pokemon portraits. I can't remember what I painted the wife as, but they wanted it. The next year they wanted another one because she didn't like who she was. I wish I could remember what it was. I felt like being a jerk and turning her into an executor, but I didn't, because I would have found it funny. I probably would have lost a client though. Yeah, creature people portraits are always a blast. I enjoy them very much. Anyway, I feel as though I've exhausted this topic. Let's move on to other stuff. Working on this portrait made me reflect on my own childhood a little bit. And I gotta tell you, I was a weird kid. While I was at work, we had something come in, and it was leaking a bunch of goop everywhere onto a bunch of toys, and that unlocked a memory for me. So I wanted to share that memory with you here. Now, when I was a kid, Stretch Armstrong made a comeback. If you don't know what Stretch Armstrong is, he was a toy that, it was like mostly rubber, and you would take and stretch him, and he would just stretch out really long and kind of hold it for a little bit, because he was filled with this goop. And I wanted a Stretch Armstrong really bad. I never did get one, but when I was a kid, what our parents would do back in the 90s is they would take us to Walmart, and they would drop us off in the toy aisle and tell us to stay there, and then they would go shop and then come pick us up. So we got to go look at all this stuff that we knew we weren't going to be able to get, but it was nice to just kind of look at it and think of maybe I could get this for Christmas. We never did. So one day I'm left unattended in a Walmart toy aisle, and I find Stretch Armstrong. Grab him by the arms, I start pulling, and I realize he's got a hole like right here in his armpit. As I'm squeezing it, this goop is spilling out the sides. And, you know, I thought it was interesting. It was very thick. So naturally, I just grabbed him. I tasted it as a normal child would. And I made a discovery. Stretch Armstrong was delicious. I know it probably wasn't pure corn syrup because it was really thick. So I'm sure there was other additives in there, which probably explains what's so wrong with my body nowadays, because I didn't stop with tasting him. I made the hole bigger. I ended up standing in the middle of the toy aisle. For a while, I actually ended up in a sitting position. I remember that. I had other toys in my lap, and I think I was trying to cover up what I was doing by pretending that I was examining the other toys. But I proceeded to eat the entire contents of Stretch Armstrong's body. Everything inside. All that was left was this husk of Stretch Armstrong that I just discarded into the corner of the shelf. I think back on that, like, what? Could you imagine being the Walmart employee that stumbled upon this like 7-year-old kid who's just tearing open Stretch Armstrong and just... So anyway, yeah, I was a little different. There's things from my childhood, things that I've like blocked out, and not because they were like traumatizing or anything like that. It was just, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, or if, I don't know. I don't know. My brain works because whenever I recall stuff from my childhood, I can recall it in great detail. But it's just like every once in a while, I'll have a memory unlock or something, and I'm like, oh man, whoa. But it's always the weirdest stuff and things that are like, would have been worrisome to a parent. Like, okay, for instance, one more story about my childhood that's gonna make me sound like a complete psychopath. I remember I was at a wedding reception and I was playing with this kid. I don't remember who it is. I don't know if it's a cousin or something, like a distant cousin. I don't know. I have not seen him since. And we're having a good time. Like, he's not being mean to me or anything like that, but all of a sudden, I was just done playing. I'm pretty sure that I just went to go eat, and the kid, he kept coming up and trying to play. He was like kind of poking at me, you know. He was behind my seat, and he kept like popping up and like, and as kids do, you know. So I think it was just the fact that I was very young. I mean, I'm talking like maybe 5 or 6. I'm sitting there and I've got my food in front of me, and this kid keeps popping up behind, and the annoyance, it was like a new emotion for me. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't want to be mean to this kid, but I also didn't know how to tell him, hey, leave me alone. I don't want to play right now. So I did the only thing that made sense to me at the time. I took my fork and I stabbed him in the eye. And I don't mean that I poked him in the eye. I drew blood. But I didn't put out his eye. The fork went like right into his eyelid. But yeah, he popped up and I was just like, all right, homie. And, I don't really know what happened after that. I'm sure I got scolded, but it was a different time. Like, you could get away with just, you know, shanking kids in the face at the dinner table, and you didn't go to therapy for it. Your parents, they just yelled at you, and then you went about your business. And I'm sure in time that kid's eyeball healed up just fine. Yeah. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. All that good stuff. I will see you in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week. Also, one more thing, in sad news, I am pulling the Trash Desert series off of my YouTube. I think the last video was like 7 views last time I looked, and that was a lot of work for 7 views. So, I mean, I know there's some people out there who really enjoyed it, but I'm not going to continue that. I hope that you enjoyed the first 2 videos. I'm not going to take them down, but I'm not adding more. I don't have the time. I would rather fill my YouTube with stuff that everybody wants to watch rather than just, you know, a niche area that no one wants, apparently. So, if you're expecting episode 3 to come out, there's not going to be an episode 3. I am going to start trying to do 2 videos a week, though. My Monday video, and then a shorter video on Thursdays. We'll see how that goes. I have nothing planned for this week, but I think next week I'm going to start trying to do that. All right, I'm done rambling. You guys have a wonderful week. See you later.